Hey guys, it's Gambit Cards here. Teachers in schools are big children. Now let me elaborate on this point. We've all been to school, right? Well, a lot of you have been to school, I've been to school. And teachers also teaching you, obviously they've been to school. And with school, there's always a hierarchy system. You guys know about this. There's the most popular kid, least popular kids, outcasts, smokers, tough guys, whatever there is. There's always a hierarchy, and people fit in with certain groups, and some people don't fit in with anyone. That's how it goes. And a teacher's experience at school can determine what kind of person they'll be later on in life. All of us, in fact. So if you have a negative experience or a positive experience, both of them can, you know, manifest into negative ways, how you become as a person, because it's very important. The brain, the young brain, when we're in school, that's when you first start learning about everything, about socializing. And if you have negative experiences, it kind of changes the way you view the world and view people. And let me just get into it, guys. So the hierarchy system in school is kind of like we're always taught to fit in with the majority. We always want the most people to like us, have the most friends. You know what I mean? And with teachers, they always seem to favor the most popular kids. I've seen this many times. And trust me, there's always exceptions, but I'm talking about a lot of teachers. I've seen this in schools, many schools. They always favor the most popular and respected student, and they treat them with more respect than, say, a less popular student, because they just view them higher. It's kind of sad, really, and they hold grudges against unpopular students if they're having a bad day, or you know what I mean, they weren't concentrating in the lesson. It happens sometimes, but the popular person can do whatever the fuck they want and nothing will happen. They'll never hold a grudge, never do anything really, and it's really unfair. And another point I'd like to elaborate on, they never call out the popular person for their bad behavior. Like I pretty much just said, they can misbehave all the time and nothing really happens, you know what I mean? And then with the student they like less, they hold a grudge with them for the rest of their school days. And so there's a bit of biasm going on there. So it's just something to think out for. And another point I'd like to elaborate on is that the teacher always seems to turn a blind eye when the more popular student is, say, bullying a less popular student. So it's like they don't value them as much as they value others. So I've seen this many times before. I've seen it. They just pretend it doesn't happen, and they don't really care. They kind of don't value the, struggling student as a person almost, because they just want to fit in with the majority. But I'll get into that later in the video. And it's always a forgive and forget thing with the, higher rated students in their mind. You know what I mean? It's how it goes. And it's always been the same thing, really. So, and my final point is the teacher's experience in school can shape them as people and teachers. So, for instance, if they were bullied in school and had a negative experience in school, that can actually make them worse as a teacher. Obviously, I'm saying there's always exceptions, but I've noticed with bullied teachers who say they used to get bullied in school, they're used to not being liked by the majority. It's like it's a bit of a psychological aspect to it. They're not used to being liked by the majority, so they try and fit in with them. They want the majority to like them within the students. So these are the type of people who don't care when, other students are getting clowned on in class. So it's like 30 against 1 or something. They don't really care, because they're not going to help that one student and have the whole class turn against them, because they've had that before in their lives and they don't really want to experience it again. So they become almost bullies themselves, and they get a kick out of fitting in for once in their lives. with popular people because they've never been popular themselves. And say if a teacher was popular in school, that kind of is ingrained in their brain to um, it's ingrained in their brain to be more attracted to like students like them. They can't really relate to other students who may be struggling, have social problems, don't fit in, whatever it may be. So they're always gonna, cater towards the students that remind them of them. So say if it's a female teacher, they're gonna always go for, oh yeah, that's the type of boy I would have went for back in the day, or they're the type of girls I would have hanged out back in the day. And if it's a man, the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? It's like ingrained in us. In them even. I'm talking the human mind mainly. It's ingrained it's ingrained in us to fit in, but only a few take a stand and don't care about all that shit and just try and do what's right. So it's just something to think about, ladies and gents, and if you want you can leave your opinions in the comment section if you want, but it's just been something on my mind, guys. Like, school's just been a massive popularity contest, especially with students. It's always been the same thing, and life is the same, I guess, but with teachers it shouldn't be like that. But unfortunately, they've been all in the same system as us, so they wouldn't really know any better. There's only a few exceptions. There's only teachers I can count on one hand who wasn't like this. The rest were like this. They always valued popular students, always, showed them better attention, talked to them with more respect. And say if you were a less popular student, they would always add to that, magnify your unpopular status. It would magnify it. So it's just it's a weird world, guys. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions if you want to leave them. If you don't, it's just whatever. But it's just something to think about, ladies and gents. Stay safe there and be careful. If any parents are watching, be careful like what school you send your children to, because you don't know. Some of these teachers, they're weird, to put it least, and it's not beneficial. Really bad negative experience as a adolescent or a kid can really make someone into a nasty person, and I don't think it's their fault. It's just what they're taught in it. But yeah, it's just something to consider in a bit.